Hello.
Hello, hello.
How's it going?
Good. How's it going?
It is going. It's been a busy, productive, whatever the day of the week it is. Is it Thursday?
It would
It's
be
been a
Thursday.
good Thursday so far. So yeah, how about
Yeah.
you?
Good, good. Busy and good.
Good to
Yeah.
hear. Well, good to meet you both. Um, are we expecting anybody else? I think there were a few other people on the call invite, or
Amy's not able to make it. She had some other obligations, so that was the only other person that I knew that was supposed to be here.
okay, cool. Good stuff. Well, hey Jason, how's it going?
Emily, good to see you.
You too. So yeah, happy to kind of go ahead and dive right in. Um, Jason and I chatted, I think 2 or 3 days ago, and he gave me a quick rundown on you guys. Um, I hear you guys are really looking to kind of double down on some Facebook ads. You see what's happening across the board in the industry, maybe what some other competitors are doing and stuff. Do you guys
Yeah.
want to throw some just kind of baseline information that you think would be valuable for me to have before I kind of dive into like our whole bit? I'd love to hear just kind of like what you guys have going on right now. And I think just hearing that information from you will give me some other good information before we dive in.
I mean, we're really bare bones and basic, honestly, for, the size of our company. We've literally only ran Google ads and a sales affiliate team. Other than that, it's word of mouth, and there's really been no other marketing to speak of.
Okay.
So we're sort of starting from scratch, but like you mentioned, like we definitely see other competitors that are, going hard on the Facebook ads and the video ads and all that stuff, and we just know we'll get left behind if we don't sort of join them. So yeah, that's why Jason suggested we talk with you.
I like it. And from a Google perspective, remind me what type of Google ads do you guys rock with?
Google text ads.
Okay, cool. And when it comes to the overall market, um, without me being too crazy versed on everything here, I feel like there's probably a couple different pockets of people that you guys can ultimately serve with the offer. Are you guys primarily going after like the real estate investor? Are you guys going after any sort of like short-term rental owners or like Airbnb guys? Like at the end of the day, like who is that crystal clear ideal person that you guys are looking to serve?
You hit a couple of them right on the head. I'd say that CPAs are typically our most valuable relationship or client just because they then have so many clients that can use our services.
Makes sense.
But after that, yeah, real estate investors and that goes hand in hand with the short-term rental, Airbnb, Verbo, but also long-term rentals as well.
Sure. So, with an initial stab at a Facebook campaign, do you guys want to get really specific on exactly who you're going after, if that is CPAs from the jump? Or are you interested in kind of casting a little bit of a net and seeing like who comes in?
I'll defer to Jason on that.
Yeah. So I feel like we've got a great mechanism for CPAs going direct using cold email. Um, I think the lower cost per conversion will be if we just narrow it down on real estate investors. That's a very so CPAs are typically very conservative in their like psychodemographic,
Yeah.
profile. They're very apprehensive. They're slow to move. We tend to see when we've run Facebook ads directed to CPAs in the past, we've had very poor results. I think mainly just because they're not emotional buyers, whereas like investors are very emotional. They're very much like it is I want to be rich, I want to not pay a lot of taxes.
Yeah.
And and then for them it's a direct problem, where for the CPA it's an indirect problem. It's like, oh, my client wants this done. It's not, I don't have an emotional attachment to the problem. So I think like I would like to hyper focus, at least in the first iterations, on the real estate investor who is trying to grow their portfolio, maximize their capital, reduce their tax burden, be able to roll their capital back into more properties, and be able to grow their investment portfolio faster by not having to pay as much taxes. And then also the I think the biggest win here for what this company does different is if they have a smaller property, they have a lower cost to get a report done. So like if you were to get a detailed study, you're going to pay 5, 6, 7, 8 grand. If you hire this company, you're going to pay, with audit support, $800, as low as 495. And so if you're only going to save like 15 grand on your property, that becomes a very material percentage of that savings if you're paying 6 grand. Whereas, and also having to jump through a lot of hoops and wait several weeks. But if you're in a smaller space and you're only paying 495, that's a much less material percentage. So they get more bang for their buck. And that's kind of the biggest win. And also speed, like you get it in minutes versus weeks and days. And you're getting the benefit of a company that has over 20 years of experience, and you get the opportunity to have audit support. And um and I think that, because the reasons why people wouldn't do this is, oh, it may expose me to audit if I become, in the IRS's eyes, a real estate investor. I'm more likely to receive an audit, so I want to know, do I have something going to have my back once I do have an audit.
I like it. All makes perfect sense too. What else? I'm looking at my notes right now. I think that all makes really good sense. Do you guys, AJ or Alex, do you guys have any other things to comment on, or are you guys like all in alignment with like where Jason's head is at with all that?
Yeah, I'm in alignment with what Jason said. I mean, we've had clients with, a cost basis, which that's the purchase price of their property, as low as like $50,000, receive a benefit because of the low cost that we charge, which just other firms aren't able to compete with. And then, like Jason said, we're one of the only companies that has a truly instant product where a report is going to be generated right away for them. And then, as he mentioned, we do provide that audit support as well, which a lot of people, when they see that cheaper price tag, they're like, well, what's the catch? Are you going to be there to support me? So we do offer that as well. So I think he hit pretty much everything on the head.
Sweet. I like it. Well, basically our process is I will get all of this information up front from you guys in an initial intake form that basically is giving us brain dump in writing, so that we basically have everything that we need in order to feel pretty confident to leave you guys alone as we dive in and handle all things strategy scripting related. We'll always run all scripts by all of you to give that final stamp of approval before we go off into production. But it is really helpful just to have some quick airtime here, even just to hear about, who is this exact person? And at the end of the day, like, why you guys over the other options out there. So yeah, this is all really good. Anything else you guys want to kind of throw on my radar that you think will be valuable for me to know before you guys say, let's turn on like a Facebook campaign and like rock and roll? Or if not, I can kind of share high level our process and where I think we would pretty nicely plug in here.
Yeah, I think one thing me and Jason are working on with the team here is more like the back end. So, we're getting lists of like their current clients, just from like more of a targeting side of things. So we're basically working to get access to the website, all that kind of stuff. I mean, we'll probably work with you more on that, but that's kind of what we're doing right now on kind of the back end.
Cool.
And I'll add to that too. Alex has come up with a bunch of really good static creative that we're going to run in parallel.
Smart.
I want, AJ hasn't seen any of this yet, so I want to get kind of have his approval on a lot of it, but we can share some of that. We'll use some of it. We're going to mix in with organic, and some's going to be paid.
Okay.
But we have like 20 creative sets right now that Alex has been working on that are, I think we have a handful of different angles, but we can test all that and look how they work together and see how they're gonna. But you can see kind of the branding and image of where the company is, what their vibe is and whatnot through some of that.
Sure. I like I think you even mentioning that it shows some of the branding, company image, all that type of stuff. I really do like statics a lot for a little more middle to bottom of funnel traffic. I also like it for validating and testing initial headlines and hooks in a top of funnel approach. If you guys are kind of unsure of like what people are going to bite at, test in that fashion. However, if you're looking to kind of get somebody over the line with like a final like brand thing, static works well for more like middle to very warm traffic as well. So depending on what these look like right now, if you guys are saying, we want to test some messaging to see like what we want to actually end up putting into some other video content in that top of funnel approach, love it for that purpose. However, if they are a little more like brand centric, branding and what we're trying to do from like a lead gen perspective with all things top of funnel and ice cold traffic who doesn't give two craps about our brands, then they kind of serve two different things. So just kind of throwing that on the radar when I look at statics and I hear people are like beginning a campaign with statics, those are kind of the two key intentions I think that it's important to have.
Well, to dovetail onto that and why I think video is so important, when you go look at which placements are converting, mobile video like Reels is probably number one. And
Yeah.
so like that is going to be where, especially think about like who's our ICP. We're looking at males from the age of probably 30 to 45 who are think of themselves as highly successful and they want to be more successful. They're probably looking at a lot of content that is about investing, and they're probably spending a lot of time on Reels, I would assume. And so I think that is the placement, both Instagram and Facebook, where we're probably going to see the biggest. Because if you go to the ad library and you look at all of the competition, um, you know, they have a product that is not very hooky. Like it's very much like, hey, I want to tell you about cost segregation, but there's not like they're not setting the hook. And I think if we can do that well, we'll have a way lower cost per result and we'll be able to scale that very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think what you're commenting on, like, don't get me wrong, I think the hook is going to matter a lot in the just differentiation of like a guy that's doom scrolling on Reels. Obviously within the hook, one of like I would argue like the biggest lever that you guys are going to be able to pull from a creative testing standpoint within the videos specifically is everything in the script. Script I would suggest is literally like 80 to 85% of the work. And there's a visual hook too, right? Like there's a lot that's going to go into the next point is really the demographic of the creator in terms of like who is that personality that's on camera and how do they visually stop you in terms of what they're saying, but like how they're saying it, how they deliver it, what their tonality is, like all that stuff is going to matter a ton too. The two other things I like to comment on too, from just like a general video testing standpoint, and this does go with static ads as well, but it's more significant from a video standpoint, is, and Jason, you and I might have talked about this previously, but like what goes into accessory testing and then what also goes into environmental testing. This is going to be so key for these 30 to 45-year-old. I might even think you guys' demographic is a little bit older. Maybe not. Like maybe it's like kind of the young, wealthy guy, but like let's call it like 30 to 55-year-old guy. What are they going to resonate most with? I mean, we're going to be super, super intentional with the casting of these ads. If we put a 20-year-old pretty gal in the ads, she's not to stereotype or anything like that, but like there's just not going to be that level of trust and authority and credibility that you guys need in order to like truly hit home with these investors. I would probably recommend we go a little bit more in that middle-ish age demo. Think like 35 to 45-year-old woman who just looks the part and looks almost like she could be the wife of these guys without that sounding weird or anything. It's like literally you're almost trying to cast just like the wife of the investor. And when it comes to the accessory testing, if you guys are trying to go for like married men, you better believe that whether we are putting a guy on the ad or a girl on the ad, they should have a wedding ring on. The exact same thing will go for like their wardrobe and their attire. Like even whether or not you have a podcast mic in the ads or not, like that is an accessory that we will either be intentional with or not. And immediately that gives you that additional level of credibility and authority, even if we're not doing like podcast styled ads. Still like the spokesperson angle, that type of stuff goes a long way. And then obviously environment matters too, whether we want to like fall into just like the standard, not stigma, but just like the standard approach of like being in an office setting. Like we can do that. But I also think there's something kind of nice about these like buttoned up offers and like two buttoned up people where you almost play the opposite and you're like, hey, I'm like a relatable person that doesn't need to have on a suit right now in order to get your attention and for you to trust me. And so I'm just going to deliver this ad on like a casual walk and talk outside. It might not seem like what you guys maybe have in mind, and that's the whole value obviously of testing a lot of different things here, but just to kind of give you guys a perspective of like where me and my team's head is at when we're kind of overseeing all this type of stuff. These are all the little like nerdy fine tunes and tweaks that are pretty necessary, because based on how we all look right now, like we are all subconsciously judging each other. Jason's got on a collared shirt. I have my hair up in like a stupid bun today because I went to Pilates earlier and I haven't showered yet. But like, whatever, these are all like saying little things about us, and it really, really matters when you are filming stuff. So
Well, I want to add to that too. Like everyone who's a creative, when you're making something, you have your favorite, right? There's your favorite child. There is the ad that you are 100% certain is going to win, and I can think of one time I've been right. And so that's why testing is so important, because you have your point of view of like, oh, I know my ICP, and you're thinking of it through your lens of how you see the world, which may not at all be the way that they see the world. You may understand them, but you may not actually know what triggers them. And so I think that's why having multiple angles and testing is so important, because you are going to find that the thing you thought was going to work. We just launched in my company a batch of statics. We did, I think, 16 statics, and I was like certain, like number 4 and number 2, like these are the winners, and it is completely inverse of the ones that I thought were going to win. And so now we cross test headline and image and see, is it image or headline? Like where is it? Because like Facebook's not even spending on the ones that I'm like, oh, that's the winner. So yeah, that's why that's so valuable to have the like test multiple angles and accessories and offers to see where what strikes the audience the most, because Facebook will tell you very quickly what is getting the most attention. Like
yeah.
milliseconds matter. So what is holding, like once you get past 3 seconds, you have them, and so we need to get them past 3 seconds.
Yep. I agree with all that. I think too, like at the media buying level, if you have a couple ads that you're like, why is this ad not getting spend? Like this ad deserves spend. I would just force that into its own ad set and give it your $100 a day budget or your $50 a day budget to just let Facebook confirm the confirmation that like it didn't want to spend on that, and then have it like get you crappy results. Because sometimes, depending on how all things are set up, we've been rocking with a bunch of CBO campaigns where like certain ones I really, really want to get spend like aren't. So not to get like into that
Yeah,
other
I've
land.
had that issue as well.
You said what,
I've had
Alex?
that. Yeah, I've had that issue as well. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
usually what happens if you have, if you have it set up that way, it won't spend anything. It'll
Yeah.
knock it off way too
Yep.
soon. So I've seen that.
Cool. Um, what else?
Why don't you explain how you guys operate on a
Yeah, I
logistics
mean,
standpoint, and like the whole structure of your, like how your process works in your offer?
our offers like very, very simple. I don't want to try to sound like make it sound overcomplicated or anything. I kind of already shed some light as to how we think about some of the different levers and stuff that we are pulling. I think I mentioned to you guys previously that I will get all of this stuff in writing right from the start. That's like your assignment day one will be spend a good 30 minutes on this intake form and give us the brain dump that we need in order to just leave you alone for a little bit. From there, our team, we dive into strategy scripting. Number of scripts are just determined on the amount of final ad videos that you'll be getting from us. So if we're starting with like 10 videos made every month, we're going to be scripting 10 new unique scripts. Some will be hitting different concepts depending on what we are testing. If, from day one, we are just going after this very specific real estate investor that we've talked about. Obviously, all ads are going to be very much geared towards them, but we might be pulling on different levels of awareness of where these guys fall, or overcome key objections that these people have, or just flex on the brand a little bit more with still keeping all killer components of direct response copy and stuff that goes a long way. Anyways, from there, you guys will approve those scripts. We'll then cast the ads. We have 30 different people on our team that all look very different. They sound super different. Our age ranges is between like 25 to 75 years old. The bulk of our team is actually more in that kind of sweet spot, like I'd say 35 to 55 years old. So kind of falls, I think, perfectly in terms of having a good bit of variety to test with this offer specifically. And yeah, from there, we're shooting everything. We get a really good edit on the content as well to then equip you guys with a Google Drive folder that's going to have final edited videos that are ready to go. And then you all will get lifetime access to the raw files if you guys would like to do any additional edits to the raws, or literally whatever you want to do, post them organically. Obviously, the intention of what we're getting you guys are ready to launch, ready to go ads for mostly just Facebook and Instagram. And that whole process, if everything goes well with intake form and then script approval, we would have the first round of, let's say, 10 ads ready to go in 7 business days. And then the cadence for our standard process is to have you guys get those ads launched. We are having an over-the-shoulder look at the data for, let's call it the first like 2-ish, 3-ish weeks. We clearly have some performance metrics in understanding which ads and which angles are converting best. Our process for the next round of delivery would basically start into month 2. We would go off, spin up another net new 10 scripts, all based on the baselines that we got from that first month's batch, and basically proceed in 2 more batches. So the entirety of the engagement is over 3 months, and we would all just need to determine the amount of videos that you guys are going to want to be getting from our team on a monthly basis, and view us as creative testing partners, like my preferred hat for our team to wear, so that, we can just constantly be iterating on all the good stuff, potentially testing out new personalities, testing new environments, all that good stuff, with time to really help you guys in scaling up the ads. So yeah, high level, that's what our whole system looks like. Do you guys have any thoughts, questions on any of that?
Something you and I never talked about. Do you have a metric on like creatives per dollar of spend? As far as, say, if you're going to spend this much a month, we should probably focus on this many creatives, because like frequency comes into play. But we have such a large market. I don't know if we're going to run into a frequency issue, but it's also like we want to make sure we're getting good. We're not. Like I've got, like, whenever I see something getting above 2, I know I have a creative problem. I don't have enough creative. So I didn't know if you have a metric you utilize for that.
Our numbers like so skewed from an average standpoint, just because we have like a handful of clients that put as much as literally 15 to 25 grand a day behind like single ad videos of ours. And then I was literally chatting with an e-com client of ours earlier this morning who puts a test budget of $10 a day behind each creative in order to just test and see like what they want to, put behind it. So I would suggest that you guys have, if it all depends on how you're going to be going about the launch of the videos and stuff from like a campaign setup level a little bit too. But I would say that range should be minimally like that $25-ish per day budget to go behind each video. But again, that can go way, 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 way higher if you guys are just looking to test a little faster, and obviously have the means to do so by just throwing a really nice, healthy budget behind stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of another question I had was, do you recommend, maybe this is later on, or I just want to get your thoughts, but what about like educational videos? Like, maybe more like bottom or middle of the funnel, Like just if
100%.
like what I guess like where does that come in, or what do you recommend for that?
I mean, first and foremost, for you guys, especially like just beginning to dip your toes into Facebook land with this offer, I would recommend like bulk of your resources, effort, energy, all of that should go to all things top of funnel. And then just like understand the data. And like if you guys are seeing a drop off and you think it's because this warm traffic isn't getting over the line with like this top of funnel stuff, and we've got to get a little bit more of that educational like content out there, then by all means, let's do so. But our typical approach, especially within the first 3 months together, is going to be getting this good educational like content out there, but it's still going to be for that ice cold traffic that like hasn't seen us yet and hasn't heard our offer yet. But we are still able, our name is like VSL Queen, and we make a lot of like mini VSLs, I would say, for like even top of funnel ads. And having these little mini VSLs that have a lot of that pre-baked stuff all in them still serve super, super strong in that top of funnel approach. But again, like, I mean, we have some clients this month that are solely focused on middle to bottom of funnel content with us. And that can definitely be something that we kind of cross that bridge when we get there type beat. But I would recommend, at least for the time being, that we all stay pretty focused and just really cracking some top of funnel stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the focus for now. I think we get fancy when we get it working.
Mm-hmm. And when you guys are like, I don't know what the starting ad budget and stuff is going to look like at this stage, but like Facebook is so smart. Like the algorithm knows what it's doing. If we're talking about spending under really 500 or a grand a day on a ad campaign, you guys can you guys can just be obsessive about all things top of funnel. I feel like you can start to get a little cute with it when like just you have a bigger budget and you're really trying to help with overall efficiency and just making sure that the ad dollars are holding nicely as you scale. And a nice way to hold that efficiency as you scale is to start to think a little bit more deep into the funnel.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, I think what we've seen is they're they have been able to convert with. I mean, like their Google like cost per conversion is roughly, I think, 75 to 50, depending on the season. I've seen it go high. When I looked at it in the past, it's gone as high as like in the hundreds, like in the
When
off
you're saying
season.
75 to 50 or 100, are you saying percentages or what are you
No,
talking about?
dollar per conversion
Oh, okay.
on Google. So
Okay.
I think Facebook is going to be, which is, I mean, it's less than 10% of, it's typically less than 10% of gross. So I think you're still within that range. So um, I think we're going to see this be much below that. I mean, I'm expecting to see 5 to 10 is probably where I'm like, where that's where I'm hopeful it'll land. So then we have a lot of scalability then.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. I don't want to sit here and be like, I 100% agree, because like you really won't know there until you get in
Yeah.
there and get some numbers going. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, and the funny thing about ads is, um, with testing and top of funnel, you get the ability to see, you will see very stark differences. We launched some in my business like a few weeks ago that I was dead set this one was going to win. And in the same campaign, we have one that's getting $11 per conversion, one that's getting $88 per conversion. And Facebook won't spend on the $88 one because it's just not getting
Yeah.
conversions. And so like, you don't know that until you run ad sets against each other and you can really see like in the same campaign, um, and we have the ability too with them. They have, I think, about almost 6,000 customers, past customers.
Mhm.
So that recorded individual transaction or individual customers and transactions. So we can put them in a custom audience. So we're going to have good data um, from that.
Sweet. What else? Any other things you guys want to hit? I can share obviously packages, pricing, what next steps and stuff look like, but you guys tell me.
Yeah, I think that would be good. I think you've covered everything else pretty clearly.
Sweet. Um, so from a package standpoint, we have like 5 core packages, and it literally all just boils down to the amount of videos that you guys are going to want to test every month. And then there's some slight differences to the packages in terms of the amount of on-camera talent that we would use for each batch as well. So I think where you guys are at, I'll throw 4 packages at you. So we have a 20 pack, we have a 10 pack, a 6 pack, and a 4 pack. The 4 pack's going to get you 1 person for talent. The 6 pack gets you 2. The 10 pack gets you 3. And then the 20 pack is going to get you 4 different people. 20 ads a month is 7,800 monthly. The 10 pack is 4,800. The 6 pack is 3,500. And then the 4 pack is 2,800. To get started, you guys would just pay for that first month upfront. And then you would just be on a kind of monthly billing cycle for at least those 2 more rounds that would hit in month 2 and month 3. And then it's structured on a month by month kind of cancel anytime vibe thereafter. And obviously we can just audit where you guys are at. And if you guys absolutely love Facebook ads at that time and really want to scale up and need a lot more videos, we can have that conversation too.
If we were to start, let's say we decide to start with one package and then we want to change or increase later on,
Yeah.
is that something we're able to do?
Yep.
Okay. I think what'll happen, AJ and I and Alex will circle up after the call and go over what AJ's thoughts are, and then we can give you feedback on where he wants to be. If that sounds good to you, unless you have some thoughts now, AJ.
No, that sounds good to me. I'd like to get with you guys and sort of get your thoughts as well and then come to a decision.
Sweet. For next steps, we communicate in Slack. So you guys would just basically let me know which pack you want to get the ball rolling on. We would just process that payment right on Stripe. And then I would get you guys all invited into our Slack. I'd send you over the initial intake form, and then we would get to work. Do you guys use Slack right now?
We use Discord personally for DIY.
Okay. Do you
But
guys
I do
We
have
use
Slack.
Slack.
any other like vendors or something in Slack? Kind of.
We use Slack a lot.
Okay,
We
cool.
use ClickUp more because we just kind of moved everything into one spot.
We got
Um,
ClickUp, we
but
got Discord.
yeah,
It's yeah. We're on Telegram, we're on WhatsApp. It's so funny. Everybody's
everyone loves their tech stack. I got one client that's on Zoom chat. I'm like, who? You're the only person that uses Zoom chat.
yeah, that's that's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, sweet. Any other closing thoughts, or you guys feel good?
I feel good.
Sweet. Um, email's fine if you guys just want to follow up via email. Jason, I have your cell. I'm always like most responsive via text, but yeah, whatever works for you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll shoot you a text or and then follow up with an email after we have a chance to meet
Cool.
and talk about next steps. So, AJ,
From
do
a
you have time to
timeline
meet right
standpoint
now?
on you guys' end, is this like a today decision or what's your vibe?
Yeah, I'd like to talk with them right after this meeting and really get a decision made so we can get things rolling. Our busy season's coming up.
It's
So
literally, yeah, that's what Jason and I were talking about too. So yeah, hit it hard while strike while the iron's hot.
yeah, exactly.
Cool.
So,
All right, sweet guys. Well, good to meet you all, or good to meet you both. Good to chat again, Jason. And yeah, be in touch soon.
awesome. Have a
All
great
right,
day.
bye.